Washington, D.C. On February 11, 2026, President Donald Trump was at the center of high-stakes political events spanning foreign diplomacy, congressional scrutiny of his administration, economic indicators, and broader policy debates that illustrate the polarized U.S. political climate. Trump meets Netanyahu as Iran talks continue. President Trump hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House for a lengthy meeting focused on Middle East tensions, particularly negotiations with Iran over its nuclear program and broader security concerns. No definitive agreement was reached at the meeting, according to official accounts, but both leaders discussed ongoing negotiations with Tehran and security priorities. Trump made clear that while diplomacy remains his preference, military options could be on the table if Iran does not cooperate. Netanyahu reportedly pressed Trump for a firmer stance on Iran's ballistic missile program and its support for armed groups, even as negotiations with Tehran continue after talks held in Oman. U.S. threats of potential military action, including the possible deployment of additional aircraft carriers depending on Iran's response, underline the complexity of diplomatic efforts. Tense congressional hearings and domestic scrutiny. While Trump was engaged in foreign policy diplomacy, officials from his administration faced intense hearings on Capitol Hill. Attorney General Pam Bondi was grilled by the House Judiciary Committee over the Justice Department's handling of files connected to Jeffrey Epstein, clashing with lawmakers and refusing repeated calls to apologize to survivors. Veterans Affairs Secretary Doug Collins also faced criticism over VA restructuring and immigration enforcement issues. The broader context included scrutiny of immigration tactics and debates over agency operations in the wake of controversial deaths linked to enforcement actions. These hearings reflect ongoing partisan battles over legal accountability and executive authority. Economic data and policy signals. Economic indicators released today show the U.S. added 130,000 jobs in January 2026, with the unemployment rate at 4.3%. While higher than some recent months, this growth follows revisions that suggest slower overall labor market expansion. Meanwhile, critics argue the Trump administration continues to pursue significant budget cuts to public health funding, reportedly eliminating about $600 million from key programs in Democratic-led states, including services that support vulnerable communities. Broader policy battles and political reactions. Trump's approach to U.S. infrastructure and foreign economic relations continues to stir controversy, though specific developments today were mainly legislative and diplomatic. Critics point to his broader strategy of wielding federal funding for political leverage. Domestic political leaders, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, publicly challenged key Trump policies, particularly on civil rights and racial equity. Outside the political arena, the ripple effects of Trump's long-standing interest in Greenland remain a point of cultural debate, as reflected in international sports commentary noting criticism from figures like Olympic athlete Jukka Sletmark. Looking ahead, Trump's actions today highlight several ongoing national storylines. Continued uncertainty in U.S.-Iran relations and U.S. strategy in the Middle East. Sharp partisan divisions in congressional oversight and judicial accountability. Internal debates over economic policy and federal funding priorities. Taken together, the developments show an active presidency navigating both international diplomacy and domestic political contention.